Now, this is Shraddha Valkar, a carefree college student, sharing a joke with her friends as she laughs along. This was in 2018, 4 years before the assault, blackmail, and finally a gruesome murder. About a year later, in 2019, Aaftab entered her life, changing it forever. Police say he's confessed to killing her, chopping her body, and disposing of the parts bit by bit. Today, amidst chants of Fasi, though, this monster gets no relief. A Delhi court has extended his police custody and given even a green flag for a narco test. But this is no ordinary crime. Times now has been piecing together the murder mystery and decoding the psychological profile of Aaftab Poonawalla through his confessions, food bills and online activities. Sources in the Delhi police have revealed chilling details of how Aaftab not just chopped up the body of his girlfriend, but possibly got gratification in its grisly details. But this was no surprise for friends of Shraddha. Times now spoke to some of them who revealed the abuse, assault and emotional blackmail.
She only mentioned that he used to hit her very badly. That's the thing, she only mentioned it.
Oh.
And that was before 1 year. It's been now 1.5 years. 1 year before this happened. So after that we were not in contact at all.
So Shivani, you are saying 1 year before, 1.5 year before you met her, and from that time he was hitting her. So see how badly.
It's supposed I think it was been happening before that also, but she mentioned it that time.
But I don't understand, Shivani, what was the reason behind hitting her? Because she is doing so good with him. She left her family. So what was the reason?
That there was no reason actually. She mentioned that from small things also they used to fight and all. So she didn't mention the proper reason. I didn't ask her. I only told her that if this is the problem, this is the case, you should leave him. Because he wasn't that close to me later on. When she met me after 2 years. And then I couldn't force her to do anything because that was the first meeting after 2 years. So I can't tell her proper ekdam haq se ki do this, do that. I only suggested her that this is not fair. I think you should leave him. And she was like, okay, I'll think about it. I'm thinking about it that I'm gonna leave him, but then he loves me and he always gives me, I'll do suicide and all. He always blackmails me. So I think he'll do that. So I can't leave him.
Okay, blackmailing also. He used to blackmail also.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me,
that was the reason she was not leaving him.
Oh, so what the person is, he killed her, he was blackmailing, and and anything she mentioned that about he is cheating someone and he's getting cheating and all? He was cheated her or something like that?
Yeah, she also mentioned that.
Oh.
That was the, I think that was the reason when she came to meet me, that was the reason they had fight and then she came to meet me.
Okay. And she personally met you, right? For this.
Yeah.
And how long you have been friends with each other?
Since we were 13, 14 years old.
Arey papa, it's a big thing. And you stay in Vasai only?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Shivani, tell me one thing. Is that anything she mentioned that Aaftab used to do a drug or something like that? Anything?
I really don't know about it.
Because if he is hitting and blackmailing and all that thing, then there is definitely something if you kill someone, so definitely the human being who is a normal person who can't do all this thing, right? If you see in the news, if you see in the news, her body was in the fridge. So what do you really think she mentioned about the drug element that he used to take and did all that?
No. She never mentioned it, but I think he must be doing it.
I really want to know, what is where she worked in the call center?
That also I don't know. Since she left the college and she went to the call center, she never talked to me.
Okay.
After that. So after that, After that, literally, like if after many years, she met me. So after joining call center, she never talked to me because she was a different person then.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
श्रद्धा की जब कल न्यूज़ आई, लिटरली इट वाज सो शॉकिंग, क्योंकि वो मेरी क्लासमेट थी, और क्लासमेट ही नहीं, फ्रेंड भी थी कह सकते। कॉलेज में हम बात करते थे 2018 के बैच में, तभी उस समय वो काफ़ी अच्छी थी, काफ़ी अच्छा उसका बिहेवियर था। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं अब जिस तरह से अभी ये हादसा हुआ, ऐसा लग रहा है कि शायद वो हमें, क्योंकि किसी लोगों को बताइए जो काफ़ी क्लोज थे, लेकिन हम भी थे उस समय, शायद ये गलती हुई कि हमने उसे ज़्यादा कोशिश नहीं किया बातचीत करने की, लेकिन वो अपने रिलेशनशिप को लेकर शायद बताना नहीं चाह रही थी। कहीं ना कहीं ये भी कारण है।
ओके, जनरली अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ को लेकर या रिलेशनशिप्स को लेकर वो किस तरीके की बातचीत करती थी? अगर आप लोगों ने कभी बातचीत करने की कोशिश की हो तो
वो नहीं बताना ज़रूरी समझती थी, लेकिन हाँ ये ज़रूर पता है कि मतलब वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा अपने रिलेशनशिप को लेकर सीरियस थी।
All right, let's in fact take this across to our reporters. Joining us live with us is Rishabh. Also, we have with us Niyamika. Over to you first, Rishabh. I believe protests are on in the streets of Delhi, particularly South Delhi, where this grisly crime has taken place. Speak to some of those protesters. Take us through what they are telling you. What is their demand?
So you can hear, Madhav, that the protesters are still smoke glaring, and you can see that though the protest has reached its end point, but the protest is still strong. It started with few people at the beginning, but it has only beefed up with the passing time. Let's try and talk to some people. If I can ask my camera person to focus in here. Sir, आप यहाँ आए हैं, क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
सर, ये जो जिहादी लोग हैं, इनको सबक सिखाना बहुत जरूरी है, और केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री जी से मैं आग्रह करता हूं कि जल्द से जल्द फांसी हो, क्योंकि इनका मनोबल काफी बढ़ गया है। ये टीका लगा करके हिंदू बन करके और हमारी हिंदू बहु बेटियों के ऊपर अत्याचार करते हैं, ये होना बंद होना चाहिए।
Okay, let's talk to a few more ladies who are here. मैम, आप यहाँ पर हैं, आप ये प्रोटेस्ट अब यहाँ पे खत्म हो रहा है, आप जाते जाते क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
देखिए, हम जाते जाते कहना चाहेंगे कि आगे कोई और श्रद्धा इस तरह की शिकार ना हो। जिस तरह से देश के अंदर ये माहौल पैदा कर रखा है, ये लव जिहाद का मामला है, ये कोई प्यार व्यार का मामला नहीं था। उस लड़की को पहले फंसा के मुंबई से उसको दिल्ली लेके आया वो दरिंदा, और दिल्ली लाके उसको मार दिया गया। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये कि उसके पार्थिव शरीर के 35 टुकड़े कर दिए। इससे ज्यादा राक्षसी उसका दिमाग है, राक्षसी दिमाग। ठीक है, हमारी कानून से ये मांग है कि बिना ट्रायल के उसको फांसी होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ट्रायल में बहुत समय लग जाता है। सरकार से भी मांग है हमारी, कानून
You
से।
heard it here, Madhav. The opinions are strong among people who are out on street protesting.
Well, absolutely. In fact, stay with us, Rishabh. We'll come back to you for more on this. Let's go across to Niyamika. Niyamika, I believe you also have protesters with you. Talk to the protesters. Tell us what they are telling you and how they plan to take these protests forward in coming days.
Well, absolutely, this candle march is getting strong because this has crossed the market area, and more people are joining this candle march, and this has been taken out to seek justice for Shraddha, and continuously is being done, and there are posters and banners as well, and this has stating that stop killing the Hindu life matters. So that is what these people are trying to say. Let us go across to some of these people who are making these candles to seek justice for Shraddha. क्या कहना चाहिए, क्या डिमांड?
मैं ज्योति डंगवाल एक मांग करती हूँ पीएम मोदी जी से, आदरणीय मोदी जी से, कि त्वरित इस पे कार्रवाई की जाए और उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिलनी चाहिए। फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट का क्या मतलब है? फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट को जल्दी से जल्दी उसके माध्यम से सजा होनी चाहिए, और उसने 35 टुकड़े किए तो 100 टुकड़े की मांग करते हैं। ये कैंडल मार्च दोबारा ना हो, मेरा अपनी जो हमारी न्याय प्रणाली है उससे आग्रह है कि इस तरह के केसेस को जो लव जिहाद के हैं और जघन्य हत्या का ये जो है, उनकी मानसिकता को तुरंत फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पे लाकर उसको तुरंत फांसी की सजा दी जाए।
एक लेडी होने के नाते क्या कहना चाहेंगे जिस तरीके से जघन्य अपराध हुआ है, जिस तरह से मारा गया है, 35 पीसेस में काटा गया है, क्या
ये बहुत ही जघन्य अपराध है, हिंदुओं के लिए बहुत ही जो है गलत चीज है। ये हिंदू लड़कियों को फंसाते हैं, उसके बाद प्यार मोहब्बत का नाटक करके उसको काट के फेंक देते हैं। ये लव जिहाद गलत बात है। अगर आप किसी को प्यार करते हैं, प्रेम करते हैं, तो उसको स्वीकार करो। लेकिन ये झूठ बोल के, हिंदू नाम रख के, मुस्लिम हो के लड़कियों को फंसाते हैं और उसके बाद उसको शादी करके काट।
So this is the viewpoint of all these people who have come here to hold this candle march, and they are calling it love jihad. They are giving it a communal turn as well to this entire case, and they are continuously demanding that capital punishment should be given to Aaftab Poonawalla. Back to you.
All right, whether or not it is love jihad, the fact is that it is an extremely brutal and extremely grisly crime. It is a crime that has shocked the conscience of this entire country. We will, of course, have to see what investigators say as far as this entire matter is concerned. Let me take this across now to our guests who are joining us. With us is Sarthak Nayak, lawyer. We have with us Sujay Kantawala, lawyer as well. Dr. Jayanti Datta is with us. She's a psychologist. Bhaskar Rao, former IPS officer and Commissioner of Police, Bengaluru, is also with us. Mr. Bhaskar Rao, now there are two or three very important aspects in this case. One is, of course, the possibility that, and we've seen the case of the Chawla case, where the Supreme Court, in fact, acquitted the so-called accused who were convicted by the High Court and the trial court on the fact that there wasn't adequate evidence, and that actually led to those accused walking free. In this particular case, with the accused himself saying that he has destroyed a huge portion of the evidence, the big question is that, A, will he be able to get convicted? Will the prosecution be successful in its investigation and, of course, in what transpires in the court? And B, what sort of punishment is adequate for a person who commits this kind of a grisly crime?
This is not just an ordinary murder. It is one of the most ghastly murders which has shaken the conscience of the whole country, and women have started feeling unsafe everywhere in any friendship or relationship. And it has also got compounded on account of the two people being from different communities, and one community has felt extremely outraged that this is the way they are being treated, and rightfully they are saying that it is being targeted because they belong to one community and it is being a target. This is a cognizable, non-bailable offense of murder along with destruction of evidence. I would only say that the investigation should be fast-tracked with all the scientific evidence at disposal with a SIT, and the trial should also be fast-tracked with the intervention of the Union Home Ministry, and the court should pronounce its judgment very fast. In Karnataka, few murder cases, the district superintendents of police and deputy commissioners have taken personal interest to see, and the government has also responded by ensuring that the investigation is speeded up, as well as the trial is also done on a fast track basis. You mentioned about some cases being acquitted. Such a case should not get acquitted at all, because there is overpowering amount of evidence, and the evidence has to be presented absolutely in a professional manner without any kind of let up in the whole thing over.
Right, Mr. Bhaskar, stay with us. Let me bring in Sujay Kantawala on that note. Sujay Kantawala, now it's what the public sentiment wants, what the public wants, is one thing. We have seen the public sentiment in Nirbhaya. We all know how long it took to reach its logical conclusion, and how the lawyers of some of the accused actually evaded or had these delaying tactics. Now, there's no guarantee that won't happen in this particular case. At the moment, as a lawyer, dispassionately, and on the basis of what has been collected so far, we know that the skull is not being collected. We know the murder weapon is yet to be seized. In such a situation, there are still many doubts that many people have as to whether the logical conclusion will be reached. Your assessment as a lawyer?
No, I'm sure that the logical conclusion will be reached, has to be reached, and has to be reached fast. So I feel that we need a fast-track dedicated court, a special prosecutor who should be there to advise and to litigate and to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he has committed this gruesome, ghastly act. Look, already the police has collected a lot of evidence, primary and secondary in nature. For example, him Googling that how to remove the blood stains. Also, unusual water bill. Lot of social media that was there. Her mobile device needs to be recovered. So police has to collect all possible evidence. The narco test is one thing, but the police has to prove all of this in court. We have a system in law. So what we need to do is we need a strict timeline, and we need to set this example, because this is a crime against the entire society. We all have sisters, mothers, daughters, and we can't afford these kind of atrocities. And look at this. He was already on a dating app post the murder. After chopping her into 35 pieces, this man is a complete psychopath. And therefore, such psychopaths cannot be allowed to go free.
Right.
And therefore, the police and we all as a civil society need to stand together and ensure that he gets the severest of punishment.
And not just that,
also fast.
Not just that, Sujoy Kantawala, and in fact, let me take this question across to Dr. Jayanti Datta, who's a psychologist on the panel. Dr. Jayanti Datta, not only did he, see another woman, of course, that itself is such a scary scenario, but also the fact that while he was carrying all of this out, he's leading life as normal. He's not just on that dating app, he's also happily ordering food, he's drinking beer. It's just shocking that a person who has not just murdered someone who he has been with for such a long time, is chopping her body to bits, is busy Googling all that, and of course continues with life as usual as though nothing has happened. Now that's the sort of mentality that many are not able to fathom.
See, these kind of murderers, these kind of perpetrators who indulge in this amount of violence, they have, as I said, I'm saying it from the very beginning, he's a psychopath with a schizoid aspect in his personality. They're very clever. They work out every minute details very, very cleverly. And they hatch the plan for years. And when they are acting in a different platform, you would not be able to suspect anything. You cannot fathom, you cannot believe that this man can do this kind of a barbaric act. Now, I would like to, all these days, last 4-5 days, we've been talking about this, and I've been saying that, collect information from the landlord. Find out from the friends, see where he used to go and mix with whom. Now, this girl was kept inside the flat, but this boy was going out and he was meeting with so many people. He has already interacted.
Within 3 days, he carried out the ghastly murder, madam, and that is what is so shocking. And that itself raises the question about whether it was premeditated.
More shocking is, more shocking the friends whom he used to.
Yes, absolutely.
More
Let me quickly
friends
get a
used to
comment from
bring to the
Sarthak Nayak, who's a lawyer. Sarthak, narco test permissions being given, permission to take him to several states, including Himachal and Uttarakhand, has been given. Are these going to be huge in terms of the actual outcome of the investigation, in your view, as a lawyer? Very quickly, Sarthak.
No, listen, a criminal case can be proved through two ways. A, through direct evidence, B, through circumstantial evidence. This is a case of circumstantial evidence. That means there has to be a chain of evidence, and it has to be so complete that there should not be any reasonable ground for conclusion to point finger towards any other person other than the accused to be the perpetrator of the commission of the crime. Here you have to look into the last scene theory, the extrajudicial confession, section 27 of the Indian Evidence Act, preservation of the crime scene. Then you have to go into narcotics, water bill, transfer of account, or any other thing. What is the necessary right now? Right now, when Shraddha and Aaftab were last seen together, many people might have seen them. They have to be interrogated. After he committed a crime, there might be an extrajudicial confession. He might have met 20 people after that. He might have confessed about the crime. Those people needs to be identified. And moreover, statement before police is not admissible as a piece of evidence. Under section 25 of the Indian Evidence Act, statement before police is inadmissible. Under section 26, while it is constituted, it is inadmissible.
The work for the police is cut out. They do have an uphill task in front of them. It's a challenge. It's a challenge that's not entirely insurmountable, but a lot of work needs to go in for the prosecution to have a watertight case in this particular matter. I'd like to thank Sarthak Nayak, Sujoy Kantawalla, Dr. Jayanti Datta and Bhaskar Rao for joining us this evening.